Kurapika, the survivor of a massacre, driven by revenge. And suddenly, he finds himself dragged into a massive succession war with every damn gun pointed straight at his head. Kurapika is the last surviving member of the Kurta clan, the people who were brutally slaughtered by the Phantom Troop. The massacre was so fucking horrific, it's hard to even imagine. Luckily, Kurapika wasn't in the village when it happened. Since that day, he's dedicated his entire life to two goals: collecting his clan's scarlet eyes, which are treated as priceless treasures, and getting revenge on everyone who had anything to do with that massacre. That's why he boarded the Black Whale, the ship of death, to face his inevitable fate. Like I said, Kurapika was born into a clan with a rare divine biological trait. Their eyes turn bright scarlet whenever they experience strong emotions, like rage or sorrow. That unique trait made them a target for treasure hunters and criminal brutes. And that's exactly what happened when the Phantom Troop massacred the entire clan. From elders to infants, children and women were butchered in the most gruesome ways possible, intentionally, just to provoke their emotions, so their eyes would turn crimson before they died. Like they'd make a parent watch their kid get slaughtered right in front of them, and vice versa. After the massacre, the troop collected all the scarlet eyes and sold them at an auction as rare treasures, and the rich bastards bought them up, and the eyes got scattered all over the world among nobles and collectors. That's where Kurapika comes in, the lone survivor, now on a mission to retrieve every single one of those eyes and take revenge on everyone responsible. And that's exactly what brought him onto the Black Whale, because on that ship are all his main targets: the Phantom Troop, the remaining Scarlet Eyes, and the Fourth Prince, who might actually be the true mastermind behind the massacre instead of the Phantom Troop. So how the hell did Kurapika even get on the Black Whale in the first place? Isn't that the ship heading to the Dark Continent with the 14 princes who'll fight to the death for the throne? What does Kurapika have to do with all this royal anyway? Kurapika had been keeping an eye on the Kakin Empire's current situation and learned about the expedition to the new continent. As a hunter, his instincts for discovery and exploration kicked in. It was a perfect chance to explore a land almost no one had ever seen. But what turned that good opportunity into a once-in-a-lifetime chance was finding out that the Fourth Prince, Serdanish, possessed a huge collection of scarlet eyes, his ultimate target. So without hesitation, he applied for one of the hunter recruitment from the Kakin government. They were looking for bodyguards for the lower-ranking princes. If you don't know, among the 14 princes, the older the prince, the higher their rank and influence. The youngest ones have almost no power. And guess which prince Kurapika ended up with? Yep, the 14th prince, Wobble. Unlucky as shit. When he went to the interview, Kurapika thought he was meeting with someone from Prince Halkenberg's team, but turns out the recruiter was actually Queen Oito, the 8th queen and the mother of baby Prince Wobble. She faked the ad because as a low-ranking queen, she didn't have the authority to publicly hire bodyguards, so she used Halkenberg's name to hide it. Luckily for her, Kurapika accepted the job. She needed a secret protector for her baby, and he needed a way to get on that ship and closer to Serdanish. Win-win situation. Kurapika also gathered a small team of his hunter friends, Basho, Biscuit, Hanzo, Melody, and Izunavi, and told them to apply as bodyguards for other princes. That way, they could all share intel across multiple royal teams once on board. Once Kurapika boarded the ship, he got an extra mission alongside his main goals, protecting Queen Oito and Prince Wobble. And over time, he actually started forming an emotional bond with them. We've seen how Queen Oito began to truly trust him, and he trusted her back so much that he even let her use Emperor Time, a deadly ability that literally drains his lifespan. To give you an idea, if Kurapika uses Emperor Time for 24 hours straight, he loses 10 fucking years of his life. Yeah, holy shit. Another sign of that bond is how even baby Wobble seems to trust him, which could be a hint that Wobble's guardian spirit beast might protect Kurapika too. So now, Kurapika's goal is to protect them both from the nightmare of the succession war and all the dangers around them. But how can he do that when the Phantom Troop would hunt him down the second they realize he's on board? Not to mention the fourth prince, the biggest threat of all, and 12 other princes who are literally killing each other for the throne. He's got no choice but to show us the most mature, strategic, and badass version of himself we've ever seen. To deal with the insane situation he's in, Kurapika started moving carefully. He's not trying to help Wobble win the succession war. He's trying to stall it, to create a balance so the princes don't start killing each other too fast. His strategy is layered and complex. To create that stalemate, Kurapika made a bold move. He used the ship's internal communication system to broadcast a message revealing the existence of a hidden power called Nen. That got every prince curious as hell, realizing Nen might be the key to winning the war. So Kurapika decided to do something more insane. He offered to teach 2 bodyguards from each prince the basics of Nen over 2 weeks. It was a dangerous move. He was literally training his potential enemies, but the real plan was genius. By teaching everyone Nen, Kurapika was leveling the playing field. See, the stronger princes, like Benjamin and Surdanish, already had Nen users. The younger ones, like Wobble and Fugetsu, didn't. So, by teaching all of them, Kurapika made things more balanced. No prince could easily wipe out another anymore. It slowed the war down and gave Kurapika another huge advantage: the information. With representatives from every prince gathered in one place, Kurapika could study them all, especially Surdanish. But of course, this made him the center of attention. The powerful princes got pissed because he exposed something they wanted to keep secret, while the weaker ones started depending on him. Exactly what he wanted. It put him right in the middle of everything. He also formed smart alliances with a few princes like Zhang the Third, Halkenberg the Ninth, and Fugetsu the 11th to secure himself further. During those 2 weeks while training the bodyguards, he was constantly thinking of ways to end the war with minimal deaths, even though that's practically impossible. But there's a theory that stealing Kakin's national treasure, the Lotus Anchorite, could end the war, since that relic enforces the rules of the succession ceremony itself. Now, after all this, the person most likely to die on that ship is the same one trying to maintain peace, Kurapika himself. He's so deep into this mess, it's almost impossible to imagine him getting out unharmed. Now, based on the manga's current events, I've got 3 main theories for his fate. And trust me, it's not gonna go beyond these. First off, we all know Kurapika's pretty much on his way to death right now. First reason, Emperor Time. It literally drains his lifespan every time he uses it. He's already lost around 10 years of his life because of it. Second, Kurapika's got 2 main goals: getting revenge on the spiders and the fourth prince, and recovering the Scarlet Eyes, and both of them are on the Black Whale ship. After this arc, it's hard to imagine him having any new goal or even a place to go. His whole story feels like it's heading straight toward its end during the succession war. Third, Kurapika's basically a Byronic hero, a tragic character doomed by his own flaws. He even said it himself: "I'm not afraid of death. What I fear most is that my anger might fade away someday." A character like that, one driven by revenge and tied to death, usually meets their end in a tragic way. So the first theory, the heroic death. Kurapika eventually finds out that Surdanish has Pyro's head, Kurapika's childhood friend, and a whole collection of Scarlet Eyes. He loses control and goes all in for revenge. To defeat Surdanish, he pushes Emperor Time way too far, long enough to kill the prince, but at the cost of his own life. He dies fulfilling both his goals, avenging his clan and protecting Wobble. Second theory, from revenge to protection. A more hopeful one. Kurapika doesn't die for revenge. He dies protecting Wobble and Oito. Some tragic event happens. Maybe one of them or an ally gets hurt, and that makes him shift his purpose completely. He faces Surdanish, not for the eyes or vengeance anymore, but to stop him from becoming king, because that's a disaster for the entire world. He kills the prince, saves Wobble, but ends up branded as a prince killer, hunted by the Kakin government. Not a bad ending. He does the right thing, but pays the ultimate price. The third theory, and honestly, the one I really hope happens, it says Wobble's guardian spirit beast might actually save Kurapika. The beast could have a protector's protection ability. Whoever protects Wobble it protects them too. When Wobble was still a baby, Kurapika was the first man to hold her and promise to protect her. That's when the beast probably bonded with him. So when Kurapika dies fighting Serdinesh, whether from Emperor time or battle, the beast might bring him back to life by post-mortem nen. That way, Kurapika gets freed from Emperor Time's curse and starts a new life. As for how the succession war itself might end, there are two main theories. First, not all the princes will die. Even though the rules say only one can survive, there are too many external players. Kurapika, the Zodiacs, the Troop, Hisoka, Beyond Netero, any of them could break the system. Togashi never sticks to traditional storytelling, so it's totally possible some princes survive and the whole ritual gets canceled, maybe by stealing Kakin's national treasures. Second, the war continues on the Dark Continent. There's a big chance the succession war won't even end on the ship. It could move to the fake new continent, or even the real Dark Continent itself. The survivors might have to form uneasy alliances just to stay alive in that hellish place full of monsters and disasters. In short, the ending's gonna be tragic, almost guaranteed, but probably heroic too. Personally, I'm rooting for the third Kurapika theory and the first succession war theory. Kurapika dies fighting the fourth prince, comes back to life thanks to Nen after death, kills him for good, retrieves Pyro's head and the remaining scarlet eyes, and the war ends after Kakin's treasures are stolen, breaking the curse that traps everyone on the ship. That's the ending I'd love to see. I'd be genuinely happy with that, but as always, Togashi loves doing the unexpected. In the end, the succession war really is about Kurapika. Not just because he's the arc's main character, but because he's the thread connecting all the stories together. Every choice he makes affects everyone, and every player has some kind of tie to him. His fate is literally tied to the fate of the entire war. If something happens to him, the whole balance he's been desperately holding together will collapse completely. So, tell me, what's your prediction for Kurapika's ending? Do you think he'll actually be able to protect Wobble and the Queen, recover his clan's eyes, and save the world from Serdinesh? Or is this mission just way beyond what he can handle? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And peace.